Hey guys, it's me Jenny and it's time for another commentary. Oh my gosh, so long coming. So those of you who don't know, I filmed this on my web camera, which is why it's shockingly low HD. Probably the audio quality sucks as well. But that's because I tend to ramble and I do many videos of commentary at a time, so I tend to just go on and on and on and on and on and on and on, and that's part of the reason why I film on low definition. And yeah, also it saves me setting up a tripod with my camera and blah blah blah, because lately I've just been like holding my camera, so it just makes sense. So sorry for the poor audio/visual quality, but it means that I can talk for ages, which is apparently something that a lot of you like me doing. So there we go. Right now the lighting is beautiful because the sun is shining directly across my window. It is about to duck behind the house that is my neighbour's house, so the lighting will not maintain itself, so give it about 10 minutes and we'll see how the lighting goes. I've turned on some lights in my bedroom, so hopefully it won't be affected too much, but you're going to see a sunset in progression from just the shade of my skin. But there we go, welcome. So also, for you guys who haven't seen a comment commentary before, basically I go through every single one of your comments and then I respond to them, both text form, and then I talk about them, because I feel like it should be a conversation. And this is a very belated conversation, it turns out, because I apparently haven't done anything comment commentary related since last time I did a comment commentary, which was sometime around February, and it is now September. Fortunately, or unfortunately, I haven't produced that many videos, so I plan on doing about 7 videos per comment commentary every other Friday from now on. So basically, comment commentaries is my equivalent of a Naked Truth on the days when Trisha doesn't, on the weeks when Trisha doesn't do Naked Truths. So it's semi-inspired, yay! It's semi-inspired by Trisha and her live streaming. Now, I haven't, and I won't be doing any live streaming because mostly it's a bit too high stress, and I know, as loyal as you guys are, the likelihood of me, when I actually get a chance to stream and get online and then I start, I could be there for hours and hours and maybe only 1 or 2 of you would turn up, so it wouldn't really be a conversation, it would be more just me talking, which is fine and fun, and I'm very capable of doing it, as you can tell by this constant flow of dialogue. But it wouldn't be so much of an interaction with you guys, it'd be more me chatting to a camera for a consistent amount of time until I get bored and stop going live. While with this, at least I've always got something to talk about, and I actually am talking to you, with you, blah 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 blah. So as I said, I'm going to do about 7 videos at a time every 2 weeks, and that way I should catch up with myself eventually, and then I'll probably drop it down to maybe 3 videos a week, depending on how often I can do the comment commentaries, whether or not I come up with something different Fridays. See how Trisha does with the Naked Truth. I know she's feeling a bit off with YouTube at the moment, which I 100% empathise with, so the Naked Truth will be less and less common, so I might have those less and less and these more and more, and then if I run out of videos, we'll think of something. I always think of something eventually, it takes just a long time. Anyway, that intro, which was so succinct and to the point and graceful, is now done. So, going back to my videos, I'm just going to have a quick look. I've answered, as I said, comments on 7 of them. So there's one, let's see, March. You know what, I'm not going to go with the order. They're going back as far as, like, February, March this year gone. So we're just going to go with them. So, going all the way back to advice for new parents, a Naked Truth response to Trisha Hershberger. The only person to comment on that video was Trisha herself, who said, great call on the pre-reading kids books. She's finding out which ones are her favourites pretty quickly. So I think that was, during that video, one of my primary advice for new parents was to reread your children's books. Because I have, and I'm still continuing when I get the opportunity, to reread some of my children's books in order to work out what to do with them, because I have so many books hidden around this house, which are predominantly mine, and you know, we're living in an age of technology and all of those things, so paperbacks are a little bit not used so much, I think, with parenting, but I do think they're very important to have a paper, something that you're very tactile, that your child can have to read through. So I don't really want to get rid of any books that maybe will be used by, if ever I produce children of my own, my children or my sister's children. I don't want to get rid of them. But there is a lot of unhealthy messages that are sometimes put into children's books, whether intentionally or unintentionally put in. And it's definitely a very interesting experience rereading some of your childhood books when you're an adult, particularly growing up in a Church of England environment, with religious grandparents, and I inherited a lot of books which have quite a heavy religious subtext, which in itself I don't mind. Like, I have great respect for religion and a reverence for true believers, people who are able to follow their faith, and if it makes them a better person and helps them and other people live happier lives, and kinder and more generous lives, then I'm 100% for that. So books like Heidi, which is a beautiful, beautiful story. If anyone hasn't read Heidi, I highly recommend getting an original copy of Heidi and reading that book. It's a beautiful story about an orphan girl who goes to live on the mountains with her uncle, and together they look after the sheep, and then she has to go off to school and she meets a friend, and this beautiful little traditional kind of fairy tale type thing. It's all about the freedom and the beauty of nature, and God, and I really love it. I really, really do, and it has a very positive relationship with religion, which I enjoy. But again, I need to consider that whether or not I want to share it with children, if and when they want to be involved with that, because I do feel like faith should be a choice, not something that people are forced into. And open-mindedness is equally as important as reverence. So yeah, not to start controversial at all. Other ones that I have a problem with is gender politics. There's some really interesting gender politics, particularly in fairy tales. Rapunzel, actually, the traditional version of Rapunzel, if you go with the fact that she gets pregnant and has to raise them on her own in the desert, if you don't know what that version of Rapunzel is, look up the original version of Rapunzel. Then that's pretty cool and pretty badass that Rapunzel goes out into the world and raises children on her own in the desert. That's pretty cool. But most of the other part, kind of creepy and unhealthy. The Princess and the Pea is one of the most unhealthy messages for young women you could possibly get. The concept that in order to be a real princess, you've got to be bruised bloody whenever you go to bed, and or you're not a real princess if you are too sad or too happy or too fat or too thin. You are a real princess no matter what. As long as you believe it, you can be it. And it's a really unhealthy message for young girls, Princess and Pea. Similarly, what's the other one that I read? The Princess and the Frog. Another incredibly unhealthy message for young girls. Theoretically, it's about respecting your parents and staying true to your promises, which is great. But it's not so great when you put it in context of a fully grown male who is forced to be a frog, tricking a girl into, the youngest girl, so probably the youngest of her sisters, into promising on her honour to take him up to the castle, feed him food off her plate, take him to bed and kiss him, meanwhile not informing her that he is actually a fully grown prince at any point, and then making her father persuade her to follow through with her choices even though she clearly doesn't want to. It's definitely a consent issue. So yeah, there's definitely some messages in children's books which, though at the time I really loved, as an adult I really don't know whether or not I want that to be so deeply ingrained in the psychology of future generations. And there's lots of other books that they're similarly maybe unhealthy in their messages overall, or some that are just poorly written. Some that are poorly written, some that maybe just don't, reading them as adults, you're like, maybe this is just not something that a child should be exposed to, or there's just better things to do with their time. So yeah, I'm just throwing that out there. So that was a very, very, very rambling answer to our one comment video. I am sorry, but I'm quite passionate about children's books, and I do think that they can have some very positive or negative messages which are ingrained very early on. And as an adult, it's fascinating to reread the books that you read as a child and experience these emotions that you never had before and these contexts that you never had before. Things like The Animals of Farthing Wood, where animals are horribly killed in this story where like there's a scene where the mice children, as in the baby mice, get horribly butchered and strung up and skewered on thorns by the butcher bird. And this scene of true gore horror in the middle of a children's book. The lizards get horribly baked alive in underground tunnels when there's a forest fire. And then at the end of the book, all the animals, so the groundskeeper of this animal sanctuary, or this, animal reserve, wild nature reserve, leaves out like a saucer of alcohol, and all the animals try it and get drunk, but the women don't because they have to abstain. And I'm just like, a question on that one, maybe just a quick. But anyway. Long explanation aside, yes, rereading children's books, do it, it's fascinating, even if you don't have any children on the way or expect to have children on the way, sometimes it's just fun, like, it's the epitome of easy reading, and sometimes you get some really new and exciting experiences out of it. Sometimes it is boring, sometimes it's really fun. Anyway, moving on to, haircut something update from March 6th. So, Nathan Lyle Official says he's developed a habit of generally just shaving his head and then letting it grow wild and free for a year and a half, and then when it gets too long and annoying he tries to shave it all off again. I know a lot of friends who do that. One of my YouTube friends, Matt, he does that. He shaves his hair off and then lets it grow and then shaves it off. My sister, my twin sister, she finds long hair so frustrating, so she'll get it cut as short as she can as a girl quite often. I mean, never alarmingly short or, enough to overstate fashion, but she does like it short, and then it gets to a certain, like, when she can feel it on her back, the back of her neck, she just has to get it cut again, and she's got really, really thick hair, so it's quite frustrating for her. I always have trouble. My hair's getting pretty long again. In fact, since that video, which was a comment, which was a video post haircut, I've got my hair cut a full other time since. So that was March, April, May, June, July, August, September. So that was within the last 6 months I've had my hair cut twice, which is more than it has been in 2 years, and I'm kind of tempted to get it cut again because it's growing really fast. I can mermaid right now. It's quite impressive. So yeah, and my fringe particularly. So my fringe is now down here. So yeah. Considering during that video my fringe was still up here, because the hairdresser was finding it interesting that I had a still little coif up here. Anywho, so I don't know, I might consider getting it cut again and might grow out for a little bit longer. But I'm surprised that it's still in such good condition. But yeah, people do that. I've never had the courage to really go particularly short. The shortest I've ever gone was when I was 11 and I went up to here, and I hated it. It looked awful. It does not suit me. Never again. But there we go. I have hiccups because I've been drinking fizzy lemonade. I know that wasn't me trying to, for the record, that looked like I was like, I'm drinking alcohol and I'm trying to pretend. No, that this is literally, it's 7-Up. It's a brand of lemonade. I'm not sure if you're allowed to do branding. I assume I am. I'm not sponsored by 7-Up. For the record, I just had a can of it and I wanted to drink it. So there we go. It tastes like oversweetened lemonade. And there we go. Moving on to KSJ Hawker 94, who says it's good when your is it good when your hairdresser says you have an unusual face? And he wouldn't have noticed the difference in length, but he did notice the curls, and it's a good look. Thank you. So as I said, I've been to the hairdresser again since that video, and the time that I visited her that time, she did like a very elaborate French braid all the way along the top of my hair there. And then a French braid down the back, and it looks really, really cool. But I didn't end up filming that day, so you missed out on that, sadly. But yeah, if Gemma says I have an unusual face, I have an unusual face. I think I do have a relatively unusual face, mostly because I look like my granddad. But there we go. I think I have a very traditional look, which isn't really in with current fashions. Let's go with that one. But yeah. I don't know whether or not the difference in length is referring to the fact that I had my hair cut and you would have noticed the difference in length between the previous style and the cut style, or whether or not you noticed the difference in my fringe lengths, which has now evened out, so there we go. But thank you. I don't usually style my hair in any way, shape or form. I haven't brushed my hair today. It's pretty shocking. But there we go. Most of the time when I put my hair up in a bun, which is almost every single day at work, I come up with some sort of curls. Today I haven't. Today I just got out of the shower and let it dry, so it's pretty much as straight as it gets, which is nice. I occasionally like my hair straight. I'm so not used to these commentaries. It's been so long since I've talked so much, so consistently for such a long time. I don't even know how long this video is. It's probably only like, oh bloody hell, it's 15 minutes already. I am so sorry. I've literally covered like 2 comments. Okay, moving on. Ranger 7 Studios Smith says nice do, winky face. Thank you. I'm sure you have a nice do too. I just can't see it, and I don't know how to make that more rhymey. Tours times. Sorry. It's not like I haven't known you for years and I can't pronounce your username. Says, Dor, you're so adorable. Thank you. You are adorable too. You're a lovely human being. Simon Burnett says, your general body is indeed appreciated by this human. What a wonderful phrase. Ha! Keep up the good work. So, thank you. I can't remember what I said in that video. I never rewatch my videos, by the way. If you guys haven't worked that out, I very, very rarely watch my videos, back. Most of the time it's one take. If I made any mistakes or cocked up or anything, it just goes online. Sometimes I do rewatch it, but usually if I do rewatch it, I rewatch it no more than once, unless I'm editing, which, as you guys know, is pretty rare. So I don't know what I said, but thank you, nonetheless, Simon, for your kind words. Big Virgo Shube says, you do have princess hair. It's so good to see you when you can post. So thank you. Yeah, I've always wanted, if anyone's seen The Swan Princess, I'm not going to bother putting a picture up because editing. Ugh. But the Swan Princess, the character in that, she's got a hair that kind of like it sweeps round at the front, and she's got like a big fringe, and I need a hairbrush if I'm going to do an impression of her hair. But I always wanted her hair. She had like a big coiffed fringe and then huge waves. And I always wanted what was her name? Odette. I always wanted Odette hair when I was little. So it's nice for my hairdresser to say I have princess hair at my age. You know, I'll take it where I get it. As I said, I can mermaid now, and when I say mermaid, it means be completely discreet from here to there, with my hair down, in front of the mirror before getting in the shower. None of you need to know that, but yeah, if you're wondering what I meant, because I said it before, that's what I meant, is when you are completely discreet. I can't quite Godiva yet. I don't know anyone who can Godiva, but I can mermaid. Anyway, Red Sky Blackbird says, not a Naked Truth related? What? I know, it's crazy. And particularly since my recent, I'm going to try and do new content, thing that I'm doing at the moment, there has been less Naked Truth, also because Trisha has been doing less Naked Truths, but there we go. It's mostly because, like, this whole YouTube thing is part of me now. Like, I don't know whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it is part of me. This type of interaction, forming videos, I've been doing it for 5 years, give or take, and it is so ingrained in me as a thing where I'm like, I feel guilty if I don't do it, and I feel this kind of little sense of pride every time I put out a video, even if then it's crushed by, you know, the 3 views or whatever. But you guys are so good. This community is fantastic, and you guys are just so nice, and you know, I'm proud to be part of the communities that have been spawned mostly from SourceFed, and some from the Vlog Brothers, and those 2 communities are just great, and thank you. Okay, so Sean Riaz says, yay for cosplay stories with Jenny. I think that was my drunken tale of my fringe from a convention a while ago, so sorry about, I don't know. I think it's a funny story in hindsight. I'm glad my fringe has finally grown out. I really wish I had more occasions to cosplay. I will say, I don't know whether or not any videos from this will ever come out, but I'm going to my first ever Halloween costume party this year. My first ever. I've always been in love with Halloween. I love the kind of pulpy gothic type of things that you get with Halloween. I've always loved that. I've always loved spooky stories and ghosts and ghoulies and witches and vampires and that sort of like gothic horror. I've always loved that. Even if it terrifies the bejeebus out of me, I've always loved it. And I've always loved costumes, and I've always loved sweets, and I've always loved the idea of having a party to do with them. And I've never been to a Halloween party ever, because I grew up in a village where it wasn't really the done thing, and I think a lot of England isn't really the done thing, but I've got some nerdy friends who are throwing a Halloween party that is D&D monster themed, and that's just so cool and so uncool, and it's just my kind of uncool cool, so I'm very excited. So yeah, if I do ever, I may or may not post what I'm going to do with that costume, but if I do, I will let you know, because I would have posted about it. But I've got an idea of what costume I'm going to do, and I will keep you up to date. I've got like a full 2 months to go, so there we go. Moving on to Trisha Hershberger's Naked Truth response on what SourceFed did for me. This is from March 26th. Trisha, yay, Trisha says, love you, Jenny. Thank you for being part of this community. Thank you for being making your own community, which is, I have to say, the Naked Army, the Dragon Riders of the No Club, they are genuinely the nicest community I have ever come across on the internet, and I've said it before and I will say it again. I have never known a community that is, with all honesty and truth to the facts, following a woman who is so, like, they are, as a people, are so respectful, because so many communities I've seen, particularly which are spearheaded by a woman, tend to get so much unnecessary hate and sexist comments and all of those sort of things, and Trisha's community is just flawlessly nice. They are lovely, they are respectful, and they are a community which I've never seen before anywhere. Like, even Geek and Sundry, which is a fantastic community of really great people doing amazing creative things, which obviously Trisha is now very much associated with, when you go onto their Twitch channel, you will get still a reasonable amount of hate, a reasonable amount of misogyny and uncouth comments, and some genuine, like, bad behaviour. Trisha, I love modding for you, because I turn up on the Twitch chat and it's literally just like, hi guys, how you doing? That's literally it. Like, I think I've had to maybe time out one person in the entire... I recently was in a stream, so I actually got to update how many months I've been a subscriber of Trisha Hershberger's Twitch channel, and it's 33 months. In the 33 months I've been a member of the community, I think banned one person and timed out 2, I think. Like, it's been such a nice ride. Like, I used to mod for Phil, and like, it would be 2 or 3 bans per game. And this is just, literally, I know you appreciate it, but I'm just putting it out there that I appreciate the community so much. It's amazing and beautiful, and I hope nothing spoils that, because it's so fabulous that such a community has been built. KSJ Hawker 94 says, don't beat yourself up too badly. Human nature dictates first impressions, and will always colour our opinions. But being open-minded means having the ability to re-evaluate in the light of new information and allowing people the opportunity to prove themselves. And let's face it, her breasts are a big thing. So this is based on one of the things I said in that video about Goodbye to SourceFed, is the fact that SourceFed has genuinely changed my opinion on things. In a similar way, I've opened my mind to marijuana, which is something that I've never ever thought I would open my mind to, because education dictates that it's the devil. Not quite as extreme as the American version. We did learn in school, you know, you took the symptoms, the side effects and the symptoms of using drug uses, and you matched them up with those actual drugs. So alcohol is much, much worse than pretty much all other extreme drug uses, and marijuana's pretty much down the bottom. And I would never ever use marijuana, but Philip DeFranco has posed a very good argument that if you're using it for medicinal purposes, then yes, it should be controlled and legalized. And I have come round to the opinion that I may agree with that. Now, that's not to say I'm 100% pro-use, and I won't ever use it, but that's not to say that I'm going to judge people who do if they're doing it for the right reasons. In the same way, SourceFed has changed my opinion on a lot of things, including my perception on women. And I did say in that video that I've always thought of myself as being a very open-minded, pro-women, feminist type person, and yet when I first saw Trisha on SourceFed, I was like, they've hired her for her boobs. And then I grew to love this amazing, clever, heartwarming, amazing person. And it's actually developed my perception on women. Same with Meg Turney and Lee Newton and Raina, who I forgot to mention in that video, and I feel so shitty for doing it. But like, the perception that Meg Turney has about her body is something that beforehand I would never have considered that a feminist thing, that she wants to show off her body and she wants to take pictures and do beauty like modelling. It's never something that I would have considered to be a good thing for a woman to do. Never. And then getting to actually know her as a person and know her reasons, it's brought me around to the concept. Like, I brought it up to my mother a couple of weeks ago, and she was like, no, that's like prostitution. I'm like, no, it's not. Like, not something that I would do, but I respect someone who strives to achieve their goals in something that they are passionate about, and that is 100% what Meg does. She strives to be as good looking and as beautiful as she can be, and she wants the credit for all that effort. And she deserves that credit. If that's what her dream is, then that is what she should get. And she does so much effort and so much work to do that, and 100% deserves it. Same with Raina. Like, Raina, when she first popped along, I was like, oh, they hired a shy Asian girl for this because, you know, they wanted to fulfill that demographic of fans. And getting to know her, she is so smart and so hardworking. And I think with all of these women in SourceFed, they've defined levels of hardworking that I hadn't previously even like thought about, because I thought they'd been hired for other reasons. And all of them have opened my mind to what women should be and can be, and pretty much defined that there is no should be. Women can be anything. And I don't mean to go off on this tangent, but it was one of the things I brought up in the video, that I just thought they hired Trisha for her looks and for her boobs. And in hindsight, I am fully ashamed of that, and even blushing now to think on that, because she is there because she's hardworking and dedicated and desperately intelligent. Which is beyond an intelligence that I have ever had, ever. So there we go. Those are my thoughts and words and things. So thank you, KSJ, for saying not beat yourself up about it, and it's good to be open-minded and re-evaluate your opinions on people. Never let one opinion dictate who they are, because one opinion is not one person. Every person is 100 opinions. Whew. Junkjaw Videos, hey Adam, long time no see, says, firstly, VidCon did rock. It did, it was awesome. And if I'm ever in that continent, which would be the Canadian American continent, I will let him know 100%. Yeah, and he said the news really stuck, and this is the news about SourceFed. The news really sucks. If he's honest, he'd gotten a bit far away from SourceFed too, but really enjoyed the tabletops and the longer talky type stuff lately. He was really sad for the people who worked on the show and expected they're all expected to be employed today, and they aren't. I'm probably going to do a video on it too. I believe you did. I need to double check. This was months and months and months and months and months ago, so I'm sorry that I can't remember if you did. And perhaps submit it to Trisha, since he's been meaning to take part to gain her show since it launched. Anyway, have a good one. So yeah, I was sad, and it was bad practice what happened with SourceFed. Bad practice from the standpoint of the very, very sharp turnover for the staff, not giving them the opportunity and the forewarning that is, you know, mostly in most businesses and most careers is necessary to give people in a business a certain amount of time warning for their, you know, imminent departure from a company. And I feel like that was really, really shitty. Followed by the Now This Nerd, which I think this video was before this Now This Nerd response. Don't quote me on that. So yeah, I think it was really sad to see it go. As I said, I wasn't really watching because I didn't empathise as much with the new members of the cast as I did with the old members of the cast, but there we go. Whew, I'm still talking. Oh my god, I'm still talking. Anyway, Raven Hutt who I don't know if I've seen your name before, but says getting introduced to your videos was one of my favourite parts of growing up with SourceFed. So thank you, genuinely, thank you so much. I'm sorry I haven't seen your name very often, but it's lovely that you said that. That's really, 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 really sweet of you. Blah, 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 blah. I'm going to have a sip of lemonade while I put my teeth back into my mouth. So I don't know how well the light is doing, but the sun is officially set behind the house, so we'll see whether or not the light will hold up till the end of this video. If so far holds true, and I'm on third video of 7, then probably not, and we'll probably be going by the light of my lamp over the other side of the room, so I'm sorry if the light gets pretty grim. Diego Riaz says, SourceFed did something for me too, brought you into the light, heart, heart, heart. Thank you. You and Raven Hunt need to high-five each other, you guys are both real sweethearts. So I'm glad you enjoy what I do, I guess. I don't know if I do anything worth enjoying, but I'm glad that you enjoy it. Moving on to Trisha Hershberger's negative video response on things I am excited for in 2017. So this was, how long ago? This was from February 18th. This is old. So Sean Riez says, despite missing the convention, you have great things to look forward to, Jenny. We have more Jenny videos to look forward to. So thank you, Sean. You are a sweetheart. So yes, this is so old now, it's completely out of date. But yes, I think he's talking about the convention that's actually happening this weekend right now that I'm missing because I am at work tomorrow, and I couldn't get the time off because my colleague is in Canada right now, so I couldn't go to the convention anyway. But the update on that was I wouldn't have really wanted to go anyway because all my friends that I normally go are boycotting that particular convention this year due to some upper management drama. Ooh, mysteries that I won't reveal because I'm not too up to date on it. Either way, I couldn't go to it because of work, and now I don't really want to because none of my friends are going. So there we go. But I would like to have gone to a convention this year. That would have been nice. But unfortunately, not so much. Nathan Lyle Official says, you don't look 14, 12 at most. I don't know what my joke was. But thank you, I guess, for saying I look like a 12-year-old. Definitely the wrong decade now, but thank you nonetheless. Gallifreyan Justice says, he just realised that Skype can be a good place for D&D. He's never played, but like you, I have my character all fleshed out with a backstory. Also, it appears that you and I drink similarly, so I don't know what I can't even remember what I was drinking in that video. I have no idea. But I've discovered gin and tonic this year. It's so good. In fact, I think I talked about it. Ooh, I don't know what happened there. I don't know if I talked about it. I think I talked about it in my birthday haul, but I got given 2 bottles of pink gin this year, which so good. And I think one day next week I'm gonna go pick some sloes, as in sloe berries, SLOE. Berries, and then you can put them in a bottle of cheap gin and make sloe gin, which is like berry flavoured gin. It's really good. So I think I might do that at some point this week. It's quite labour intensive because you have to get the sloes and like hand pick them and then hand prick them, as in stab them, and then put them in a bottle of gin with sugar, and then every couple of weeks turn the bottle over so all the berries melt. But it tastes good. It's really nice with lemonade. Just throwing that out there. So yeah, all things are good. And as for D&D on Skype, that's a constant debate I'm having when it comes to doing online D&D, because I really miss DMing, and I have so many worlds in my head of like little stories I've picked up and thought of, and I really do want to DM because it's such a fun experience. But unfortunately, the only game that I can actually participate in is a home game run by my DM, who's amazing, and I love being a player. I really, really love being a player, 100%. But I can barely keep up with that. I can barely make the club games that I can make. I haven't been able to make the entire summer because I've been working so many hours during the summer, so I haven't even been able to make the club games. I've barely been able to make about 2/3 of the home games. And as much as I'd like to DM, I just don't have any friends that I can do that without offending either of the other 2 groups, which I can't make. So that's the kind of thing I'm coming up with at the moment, is maybe to do an online one, because there's a couple of online friends who are fans of D&D, but there is a magic to being sat around a table and looking at each other's eyes and reading each other's body language and, knowing whether or not someone's fumbling a dice. It's all very important things that you can only really get from actually being in the facility with other people. That being said, if I can come up with a good solution, I would like to do some online DMing or some online playing. Skype, I think, would be okay. But at the same time, I don't know. I need to. I'm working on options. There are so many options. And then I need to build a party. But either way, I think it would be fun, and I really just want to play more. And if that would work with my schedule, if I can do, 2 hours whenever anyone is free, then I think that would be really nice, at least for me. I don't know, selfish wants and all that. KSJ Hawker 94 said he had a few chuckles in this video, but would actually like to ask if I have a basement to dwell in. That would be a requirement. I unfortunately do not have a basement to dwell in. We have an attic, and I have an actual attic above my room, which at the moment has nothing in it. So I could go attic dwelling, but it seems like a bit too much effort to climb the ladder up and down. I have an understair cupboard, but it is full of various mop buckets and brooms and stuff like that, so it wouldn't be very comfortable. I don't know. I'll consider my options. If having a basement is really essential, I'll maybe just dig a hole out underneath the stairs. Maybe not. Probably not. Moving on. Tours Time said, so much good to look forward to. I'm so happy for you. Looking forward to hearing about D&D. And she's running her second session of Ongoing Game tomorrow. So given this was in February, and I've talked to you since Tour, you're probably well into your game, and I'm glad you're enjoying it. And yeah, D&D is so good. I miss playing, but we've got one book for 2 weeks. 2 weeks from today. I will be playing some D&D. Woo! And yeah, as I said, there's also the D&D themed Halloween party coming up that I have an idea for a costume. Congratulations on everything, Trisha. I feel like I haven't talked about this video yet. It turns out because I filmed 2 videos consecutively, so I actually am wearing the same clothes that I'm wearing as the comment on my haircut update thingamabob doodly what's it video for an earlier this video. So, congratulations on everything, Trisha video from March 16th, 2017. So, Trisha said, yes, I totally call them skinny bitch belts. Ha 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 ha. I'm so glad that I passed that name along. Thank you for the video. And yes, family cosplay is happening. Great topic suggestions. I don't know what I topic suggested, but I'm glad that you have had good things from that video. As I said, I don't rewatch, so I could have said anything, and I'm just commentating on the comments. And skinny bitch belts is a term that I do occasionally use. I only own one. It's one of those skinny bitch belts that, like, if I'm having a fat day, kind of is a bit too tight, and if I'm having a skinny day, kind of falls off. So it's not one that I wear very often, but I do own it, and it is really nice to have. KSJ Hawker 94 says, Ginny making quacky duck noises, funny in my imagination. So basically, sometimes when I kind of flummox my words, and you've probably seen it once or twice during this video, I'm kind of like, click, 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 click. So it's kind of like that. But I think, I can't remember what, I must have said something along the lines of, fluck, 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 fluck. So, funny duck noises, funny in your imagination, funny in real life, maybe, maybe not, probably not, who cares. I'm gonna have some more lemonade. Okay, Big Burger Tube says, congrats Trisha, and thanks for sharing this. She is the best. She is a sweetheart, and there we go. On to the next video. Trisha Hershberger's Naked Truth response on Valentine's Day disasters. So, KSJ Hawker 94 says, being on Tuesday, I suppose most people will be working on that day. In the evening, I would just stay home to avoid the crowds. I would like more snowfall before the winter ends. So, the thing is, I think that video was saying that my worst Valentine's experience would be this year just gone because I was scared that I'd have to bike in the snow. But fortunately, I didn't. Well, I did bike, but there was no snow. So, all my worries were for nothing, and it was just kind of a meh Tuesday. As it was, we didn't get any snow, which was kind of sad because we were really hoping to be snowed in, or for it to not snow, so I didn't have to bike in the weather. But as it was, we got nothing, so it was just another day at work, which was kind of sad and annoying, but nothing special at all. So there we go. It wasn't really even worth making a video worried about it, but at least that was something to say for a Valentine's video, because I don't really do Valentine's. Richard Neal says, I'd say there's nothing wrong with snow, but I have to admit, but I have to admit to have not seen any in the last few years, to paraphrase. So yeah, like I like snow, theoretically, but I will say that I've never had like Tor's comment. The next comment along says, she feels my February snow pain. It snowed over a foot last weekend, and they had to shovel it twice a day. So I miss the snow, and I get annoyed when the snow is here. But I have never ever had to shovel a foot of snow, ever in my life. I've never probably had more than a couple of inches or a couple of centimeters of snow in my entire life at one time. It really is not something that I'm used to, so I can complain about a small flurry, and I can complain about not having any at all. I've never had enough to actually had something worth complaining about. And Tor, you have something worth complaining about. So there we go. And Richard, you have something to envy. That Tor had 2 feet, one foot of snow that she had to shovel twice a day. Whoo, Canada. Whoo, brrr. So yeah, I'm glad I didn't have to suffer with that. And you can tell it's been a long day. I'm not used to talking this much. Gallifreyan Justice says, we're the same. So I'm not really sure what that's in reference to, whether or not it's in reference to snow or not doing Valentine's, but I'm glad to have found a kindred spirit somewhere along the internet for whatever you are referring to. And last but not least, and I'm going to look how long this video is, 40 minutes. 40 minutes of continual talking and hiccups. I did see a very, very large dinner as well. So yeah, if occasionally you're wondering why I'm slightly more stuttering than usual, it's also because I've been hiding the fact that I have hiccups. So there we go. But yeah, 41 minutes. Jesus Christ on a bicycle. Whew. Last but not least, though, comment commentary. The last comment commentary I did, which was February 10th. Today is September 2nd. And my last comment commentary was February 10th. That is depressing, and I apologise for the neglect. Moving on. So this was previous comment commentary. Tools Time says, drink your tea and maybe mix up another with a chopstick. Get well soon, Jenny. Smiley face. Thank you. Oh my god, thank you for the shout out, says Sean Riaz. You're entirely too kind, and your videos are never boring. I wouldn't trade them for the fanciest chopstick anywhere. So thank you, Sean. You're a sweetheart as well. Nathan Lyle Official says, silly Jenny, tricks are for kids, but we haven't tried to eat cereal with chopsticks. It's a little harder than eating ice cream with chopsticks. So, yeah, tricks are for kids, I guess. Some interesting spellings in there. KSJ Hawker 94 says, Brambly Jenny, so good to see you. It almost brings a tear to my eye. Sharing with us your big cup of brew, enjoying it much I cannot lie. Chopstick. I think that's a haiku. Good job. If that's a haiku, I need to actually check your actually count your syllables, but if that is a haiku, good job. And Raymond Smith says, if it makes you feel any better about your job. Okay, so one sec. This one is a long comment, and I feel so sorry for you, Raymond. So listen to this. Okay, if it makes you feel any better about your job, in the last 4 months of my job, my only co-worker got arrested for killing someone while driving drunk, so I had to work all the shift. We got hit by Hurricane Matthew, and the health department closed us for 2 weeks. My boss stopped paying me on a regular basis. My boss got arrested for drugs and was banned from the bar the kitchen was in. Closed for another 2 weeks. On the plus side, the last 2 weeks we've been run by someone who is competent and things are good now. So Raymond Smith, my God, everyone who has watched this far, just tell Raymond Smith that was a shitty couple of months. I hope things have been better. This was 6 months ago. So I hope work has settled down and you're working with humans who are better and less awful and everything is calmer. You make my work sound like my previous work and this job sound like peace and rainbows. Good job on you. And finally, Red Sky Blackbird says, finally, not a naked truth. And so it ends. Oh my gosh, so this was definitely a return to form. For those of you who are familiar with Naked Truths, this definitely ticks all the marks and all the boxes for rambly, incoherent, stuttery, messy, hiccupy, burpy, the whole works, and poor lighting. So before the lighting gets any worse, thank you all for all your various comments over the last 6 months. which is so ridiculous. Thank you all so much. Thank you for your feedback and your input and your stories and your dramas. And your compliments. You guys are sweethearts. Feel free to comment on this video and any other videos. I will be starting to get back into commentary, so the more comments I get, the more I can talk at you. And apparently you guys like me talking at you because you're weirdos. You're delightful weirdos who like to hear me ramble and talk rubbish. So yeah, you can. The more you comment, the more I talk. Although, you know, some of you tend to fill up the entire chat, so maybe let other people talk or respond, because I love to see conversations. If you guys want to chat to each other, that's so awesome. So, you know, if you feel like you really want to contribute to the discussion, discuss with your fellow commenters, because that's so fun for me to read, and it adds to the community. So yeah, thank you all for commenting. For those of you who are familiar with comment commentaries, particularly those of you who use the word chopsticks at the during the comments of my last comment commentary, you know that because these are so long, and as a little kind of in-game reward system, I usually come up with a random word for you to put in the comments. So I know that you have watched all the way to the end, which proves to me that you're kind of a crazy awesome nerd. But there we go. So if I come up with a really off-the-cuff word, you can put it in the comments. You can either put it as blatantly as you like, just put that word, or you can put it into a haiku like we did today, or I challenge a couple of you if you really want to do a limerick and somehow fit this word into the limerick. Yeah, just go to town, make it subtle, make it unsubtle, it's up to you. And I just encourage you guys to comment because that's what I'd like to see. And words and stuffs and things. So today's comment word of the day is going to be... I always come up with like concrete nouns for some reason. I always come up with like a specific object because it's nice and easy, isn't it? So today is going to be... Well, I've got this lovely candle which I got given for Christmas, which I still haven't lit, which is orange, clove, and cinnamon. So I'm going to go with orange. If you can fit the word orange, or should I go... If we're going to go with a challenge, we're going to go with a challenge. So I'm going to challenge anyone who really wants to go above and beyond on the comments. We're going to go with not orange, we're going to go with clove, C-L-O-V-E, as in like the spice, and the scent of this candle, because I think it's a bit unfair of you guys to have orange if we're going to be doing the challenge of limericks, because orange doesn't rhyme with really anything. So clove is the word. If you want to put orange in there, sure, go ahead, but clove is the word, so feel free to put that somewhere in the comments, subtle or unsubtle as you wish. And in the meantime, I just encourage your comments. Thank you for watching. Feel free to comment. And I'll see you guys all in between 1 and 2 weeks. Probably 2 weeks. On a Friday, hopefully, if I'm up to date with my videos on like today. But there we go. Thank you for watching. Bye for now. I love you lots. I'm filling in while I go back to my web camera to turn it off. Thank you, and good night.